You could just, I call the meeting to order. Roll call, please.
Mr. Zajac? Here. Ms. Renee?
Here.
Mr. Wardell?
Here.
Mr. Kosis?
Here.
Ms. Lewis?
Here.
Mr. Calhoun?
Here.
Mayor Brown?
Here. Notice requirements, Chapter 231, Public Law 1975, and satisfied by publication of said notice in the Asbury Park Press and Poster and electronic copy with the municipal clerk. Everybody, please join me in flag salute.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. First order of business communications, minutes from council meeting, August 26, 2019. What is the council's pleasure? Receive and file. Receive and file by Mr. Wardell, second by Ms. Renee. All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Thank you, received. Presentation this evening, we have Chief Russell Sitcher from the Monmouth County SPCA and his team to do a presentation for us on the TNR. Thank you. All your seat. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. My name again to the audience is Russell Sitcher. I'm the Executive Director and Chief of Humane Law Enforcement at the Monmouth County SPCA. Tonight, we've been asked by the Mayor and Council to come and address the township people here and into the committee in regards to the recently enacted TNR program by Neptune City. First off, I'd like to applaud the Mayor and Council for accepting such a great program, being progressive and moving forward in addressing our community cat issue throughout the county. The brief history on this real quick is that, the community cat or feral cat problem that exists rampantly throughout the United States and really throughout the world is a problem that no one in this room has created, but it's a problem that we've inherited over the years. When I first got involved in law enforcement back in 1981, when I was a municipal police officer for 5 years and then to the prosecutor's office for 25 years after that, when I first started, I would see stray dogs running around. We never see stray dogs anymore, and if we ever do, generally they belong to someone and quickly return to their home. 95% of every dog that comes into the shelter is returned to their owner. Unfortunately, the complete opposite is with cats. 95% of the cats that come into a shelter remain at the shelter and are never returned back to their owner. And the community cat problem or the feral cat problem is a problem that has really been overlooked over all the years, and we just I guess for the mere fact that we're just not threatened by maybe a cat running around as opposed to a dog running loose and people don't feel threatened. But over the years, these cats have been allowed to breed out of control and of course presents all sorts of issues for not only the neighbors who may be feeding cats or running loose in the neighborhood, but also on a public health standpoint from the health department. Feral cats who basically are wild cats live in the wild and they interact with rabies vectors just like possums, raccoons, and competing for the same food source, and they will contract rabies and can be a carrier of rabies. And of course, as we know, rabies is something that we're very, very concerned about, especially in the public health sector. The TNR program is designed to help bring the community cat problem under control. Now, please understand, and to the Mayor and Council, this is no silver bullet. Okay, there is no silver bullet out there, but it is the program that's been proven over years and years through studies. The University of Miami did a very comprehensive study several years ago that a TNR program actively being enacted will reduce a feral cat population by 60 to 70% in a 5-year period. It will never ever eliminate the feral cat problem, but it will drastically reduce the colony. Once a feral cat is neutered, a male cat will no longer roam to look to breed. He will protect his pride and protect the area where he is so they will not allow other cats to enter into it. Of course, a female cat who is fixed will no longer be able to breed and therefore no longer be able to produce kittens, which puts an end to the cycle. But again, they wind up living a lifespan between 5 to 7 years in a healthy, vaccinated type of lifestyle and eventually fade out, and eventually the colonies will reduce over time. Our program is designed to help coordinate that and take control of it. The cost to neuter a cat through the Monmouth County SPCA is $75. That is our basic cost to neuter a cat. That includes the neutering, the vaccinations, rabies vaccination, and any other vaccinations that they need through the veterinarians, and also a microchip and an ear tip, so we know that a cat has been neutered through the program. The Monmouth County SPCA, in conjunction with the municipality, have agreed to split that cost of $37.50 apiece, with a maximum limit of 100 cats per year, unless the mayor and council approve that we go beyond that. Now, it's very important, of course, obviously for budgetary reasons. The town knows that they'll never be spending any more than $3,750 to address this problem in a single year. Now, I can tell you in the city of Long Branch, we hit that 100 mark cat very, very quickly in the town council, and they approved another 100 cats and then another 100 cats. In fact, this year, the city council in Long Branch approved 400 cats in the beginning of the year, just so they wouldn't have to go back to it again. It is an a la carte program. We only pay for what we do. So if we only do 50 cats, we only pay for 50 cats in the municipality. So it is a program that is completely controlled by the SPCA. Now, how it works is that the township or the municipality or the city will appoint a liaison to work in unison with the Monmouth County SPCA. That liaison will work with our TNR coordinator. I'd like to introduce Corinne Hens here today. She's our TNR coordinator. That liaison will work with our coordinator in getting colony caregivers approved. Now, colony caregiver is a person, we know that person, that's the person who is the proverbial cat feeder that we have in our town. Now, if I may talk about that a little bit, you know, we do have a segment of the population who do love to feed these cats and really care. And by all stretches means they are good humanitarians. They truly, truly are. Sometimes it can get out of hand, and sometimes they lose control, right? And that's very, very important that we understand where they're coming from and what they're doing. But we also have to understand their neighbors. And it's very, very important that we maintain a harmonious relationship between the neighbors who are being affected and the people who are feeding. We don't want to chastise people who are feeding, but then again, we don't want to punish people who are living in an area that is saturated with a feral cat population. And we will address every one of those problems as we go forward. If we find that there is an area where there is an oversaturation of cats, we will absolutely go in, trap, and remove some of those cats and relocate them to different parts of the county, maybe to some of our backyard buddy programs, which are farm and industry people who look for cats to help them with their mouse problem, and in factories or whatever the case may be. The Monmouth County SPCA has a very, very progressive program where we're able to move cats and get them through. But at the end of the day, we really don't want to remove cats from an area if we don't have to, but we're prepared to do so if we have to, okay? So as we move forward with the program, if someone is a person who is an approved colony caregiver, that person will be approved by the municipality and also approved by the Monmouth County SPCA to work as a liaison. Once they get approval, they are basically working as an agent for the SPCA and for the municipality on trying to keep the feral cat population under control. This is a very, very important step to this program because these are the people whose eyes and ears are on the ground and be able to see what's happening. A good example is Highlands was the very first town that we did this program in. And just recently we had a bad outbreak of rabies up in that area where one of our colony caregivers noticed it and brought it to our attention immediately. We went up there, we recaptured every cat in that area and revaccinated every cat up there just for a safety precaution to make certain that they were protected. It was a raccoon that broke out with rabies and several other raccoons in the area, and it just happens. It's a part of nature. But again, it was a colony caregiver that brought it to our attention, and we were able to combat it and try to bring it under a tight umbrella to make sure the public was safe, especially when it comes to rabies. Once a person is approved, the Monmouth County SPCA takes over at that point. We work with those people to trap and capture and bring those cats in and have them neutered on a regular basis coming through and to make certain that we secure the area. Every cat that comes into the Monmouth County SPCA is documented. Their medical records are kept by us. They're microchipped so we know where they belong and who they belong to, and we maintain those medical records at the Monmouth County SPCA. Additionally, we share those records with the municipality for you to have a copy of them, so in the event something ever happens to our files, you have them in addition, or can go to them at any time you need to look at them, so you know where felon caregivers are, what's going on in your town moving forward. This is a really good program, and there's nothing bad that can come out of it. I challenge anyone at any time to ever tell us what will happen if we didn't do it, or what's bad with the program. If we don't do this program, the feral cat population or the community cat population is just going to continue to grow. It is never going to come to an end. One thing I can tell you is the Monmouth County SPCA is the leader in the state of New Jersey on this program. We initiated this program 3 years ago, and 3 years ago, we did not have one municipality involved financially contributing to help solving this problem. This is a problem for all of us. As of today, we have 15 municipalities, including Neptune City, who are actively involved in this program. And I can tell you statistically, we are starting to see a reduction in the shelter of neutered cats that are coming in, or unneutered cats that are coming in, or feral cat population coming into the shelter. So we know that we're making a difference and the impact is helping. Again, this is a program designed to bring us under control and to bring a community back together to help control a situation that was not caused by anybody in this town, and help bring a situation where some people are involved where it's getting a little out of control, and we need to help them realize what they're doing. So, any questions from any of us here? Any pros, cons, or anything anyone wants to bring up to me? I'm willing to. Yes.
Just have a quick question. Like right now, I'm a foster for a rescue. It's like a 16-month-old kitten, a 16-week-old kitten, and there's an older cat. Now, if I've trapped before, if I manage to trap them, can I call?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Okay. So part of the program also involves that the Monmouth County SPCA reserves the right in this program that any cat that we capture or trap and bring in, that if we deem them adoptable, we reserve the right to keep that cat and to adopt it out to a family. Because unfortunately, a lot of the cats that wind up feral cats or community cats are cats that are dumped by their owners, and they don't want them, they just let them go. It's easy for them to do. So a lot of cats that do come into the program are very friendly cats. And we have the right, we reserve that right to keep them at the shelter and put them in a loving home moving forward. Cats that, of course, that we deem that are completely feral, untouchable by humans, go back out, go back out. We keep all the kittens. As of right now, we have over 1,300 kittens at the Monmouth County SPCA from this year alone. Now, could you imagine if we didn't TNR those cats, how many, there'd be 3,000 more kittens off of those 1,300 cats going forward. So, and we'll find homes for every single one of those kittens coming into the program. So, as we work forward with the program, yes, we encourage people who are involved to contact her in, all right, and if they capture or trap a cat, a mom and their kittens, or whatever the case may be, to bring them in to the SPCA. We'll run them through the program, and again, if we deem them to be an adoptable cat, they'll stay at the program. We'll keep all the kittens. But the most important thing here is communication through the shelter. So our surgical team, who does over 5,000 surgeries a year, we have a clear calendar every single solitary day for 10 feral cats on our surgical calendar. So it's really important that if you are going to actively trap on your own, that you reach out to Corinne through the Monmouth County SPCA. You call our number, 542-0040, and option 8 is the TNR number, or she'll give you her cell phone number, her email address, and you can, or her cell phone number, and you can call her direct and coordinate the trapping for the day. Because remember this, you may be trapping in your yard, but she's also trapping in 15 other municipalities in Monmouth County, and have other people like you out there trapping. So we have a limit of 10 cats. So she may say, that's great, just only bring one cat in today, or whatever the case may be. So it's just a coordinated effort, that's all it is. Yeah. Yes?
I understood for kitten, you will find good homes. That's
All
very nice.
Yeah.
But what about adults? Because adults, cat, they are very hard to adapt, in cage if they were living 2-3 years outside maybe. So when maybe I will catch adult cat, can you help neuter it, spay, and release in same environment.
Absolutely. So if I'm understanding you correctly, you're talking about some feral cats that may be caught but can't be returned? Is that what you're talking about?
Yes, exactly. In
Sure.
my area, we had ear cuts.
Ear tip.
Yes,
Mhm.
marked that they were neutered and spayed, and suddenly cat had baby kittens. And I call SPCA for help and police department. It was very helpful, but I'm thinking that cat had to be caught before, because immediately when a cat mother saw trap, disappear from area.
Oh, sure.
So I said myself, okay, no problem. I can try to help, because
Sure.
it is sometimes very difficult to catch, to trap these like 50% maybe wild animals, because they will not come to you. They are
Sure.
very clever. They observe you. That's why they are clever.
Oh, yeah.
So when I will catch maybe this cat, what is mark, okay, but had kittens. You can also find who did the job and maybe did bad job if it has microchip.
Sure. So if the cat was ear tipped, that means it was neutered, but maybe they didn't do it. No, maybe they didn't.
Exactly.
Maybe whoever did it, I don't know. We'd have to figure that out. So of course, obviously, sometimes, listen, cats can be very clever animals. And they do recognize traps, some of them, and may not go on. And there's other ways to try to capture them. And our people are experts at trying to do it. But you may be expert at it too. So if you're able to trap that cat and bring it in, and you suspect that it's still having kittens, absolutely, by all means. Call the number, we will respond immediately. And a lot of times when we take cats, for instance, I remember when we first took over animal control for Neptune City 2 years ago, we had a problem with feral cats in the borough yard. Okay, now that was absolutely an area where we could not return those cats, right? That was an issue that we had to do. We went there immediately, we trapped and removed majority of those cats. There's probably a few of them. In fact, I think recently we were just in there trapping again, weren't we? In the borough yard? Yeah, there were a couple more, because they can be elusive at times. But those cats, we all found homes for. We were able to get them in a backyard buddy program, which is a program I know on my farm myself. I have 5 of them. We give them out to local farmers, industry, or factories that are looking to just hopefully can put them out onto the farm, help live in a barn. They're wild, you can't touch them, but they'll feed them, and they help with the mouse problem, and so forth and so on. It's a great program, and it really, really works. We work very close with Rick's Saddle Shop out in the western part of Monmouth County and some of our industrial areas. So we do find homes for those cats. We truly, truly do. We have an extraordinarily low euthanasia rate at the shelter. We take in over 5,000 animals a year at the Monmouth County SPCA, and we maintain a 95.5% release rate. So that's a huge number. We're considered a no-kill shelter, although I do not like using that term because it's a little misleading. We will euthanize for aggression and for sickness, obviously, if an animal's very ill. That's the other thing that comes in. People have to understand in the TNR program, if we do have a cat that comes into the shelter with bites of an unknown origin, we euthanize those cats. We never return them, all right? Because we don't know why they were bit or what they were bit with. And sometimes that comes with a little bit of controversy, and we do get some pushback from some of the public when we do that. But it's a very important thing on a health standard that we do that, because we don't know what bit that animal, and we can't quarantine that cat for 45 days as the health department would mandate us to do. It is extraordinarily cruel to keep a feral cat up in a shelter. It truly is. We may think as human beings that it's warm and fuzzy and nice for them inside a shelter. They don't understand that at all, not one bit. They think that it's very, very cruel and very hard. They can't accept what's happening. So in that case, if we do have a cat with a bite of unknown origin, we will euthanize and send it out for testing to make certain that it's not been affected with rabies. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, I have a situation, and this is at Rutgers University, so up in New Brunswick, but
Sure.
I live around here, is that there is an adult cat that has 3 kittens.
Mm-hmm.
And the kittens seem young enough, they're eating solid food, because I leave food out for them. I'm thinking, do I take those to the shelter, the kittens, and then trap and release the mom? Or is that better just to keep them around, keep them together?
Well, the first thing you want to do is get them neutered, okay?
Yes.
Because those 3 kittens will be 15 more next year, okay?
Yes,
So
exactly.
that's the first thing you want to do.
How
Now,
old do they have to be to be neutered?
well, they usually we do them per weight, so usually when they're like a couple pounds or over, that they're going to be neutered, but they the socialization with them is very important. So if they're already eating on their own and they may be beyond the point of socialization, but the most important thing is to get them caught with their mother, bring them in, and our staff will determine, well, you're in Middlesex County. Right,
I am,
right,
so I'm
right.
just curious, I'm just
Right.
looking for advice.
Yes,
for
of
that
course, but if they were to
situation.
come into our shelter, we would evaluate them right away, and we would keep the kittens until they were old enough to be released, and then we would neuter them and release them if they weren't deemed adoptable.
Okay.
Right, obviously, if they're adopted, we're gonna keep them. The mom may be adopted, she may very well be, but kittens may not be. But, you know, cats, believe it or not, learn behavior from their mother cat. It's a true fact, you know, it really is. So, again, every situation's a little different, but again, you know, the most important thing, get the neuter.
So is there tips, do you provide tips on how to trap these cats?
Well, you know, of course, the obvious one is have a hard trap and don't feed them, you know? So you wanna make sure that you leave them hungry for a little while,
Yeah.
let them come in the area, but then set the trap for them to go in, and hopefully they'll catch them and they'll go in that way. And it generally works. Sometimes there's box traps that you may have to use. There's other techniques for ones that are very clever, you know, who know, you know, that, you know, sometimes I've had our people out there, almost like the old string and box thing, you know, like where the cat goes, you pull the string and the box goes on top of them, because it's something they don't recognize. Anything that works, you know? Right, they're, exactly, so, they're,
Come right in the house.
Withhold and then start to feed,
Exactly
put
right.
in the trap. Okay,
Exactly
gotcha,
right.
thank you.
Exactly right. There's all different ways, and of course, I'm not the expert on it. Our people at the patrol are here, are experts, and there are many other resources out there to help you trap cats, and there's plenty of people up in Middlesex County that I know of that would help you also do that too. Yes, yes.
Weather, when you're trapping a cat, or, you know, the weather is too cold, too hot, can't leave them in that trap very long.
Very important. And that's, thank you. You know, we would think that's common sense, but some people it's not. You know, when we set, you know, when our people go out to set traps, they set them out in the morning and they check them periodically during the day, and then by the end of the day, they retrieve the traps, whether there's a cat in it or not, and then take it back to the shelter. Yeah. Yes.
What records are operable?
What records are operable? So, all records are operable to some degree. Obviously, we don't hand out personal information, but if someone wants to Oprah, who is a colony caregiver, that's an operable record, you know? We don't provide phone numbers or personal information like emails or stuff like that. We would take that out of the Oprah request, but if someone does want to Oprah that information, we would certainly provide that to them.
Who's the custodian of the records?
Lindsay Sacker?
Through the SPCA or the prosecutor's office?
So law enforcement would be the prosecutor's office or law enforcement division, but this falls under animal control, which would be Lindsay at the shelter.
Okay, just want to make sure, because I know the Monmouth County or SPCA is not government funded or,
Well, the Monmouth County SPCA is a government authority, and of course, we are a division of the Monmouth
It's-
County Prosecutor's
okay.
Office for the law enforcement division only.
yeah, I know
Right.
there's a,
Right, exactly. The shelter and the animal control division is a self-organized 501c3, but still subject to Oprah.
okay,
Right, still subject because we are a government entity.
okay.
I would tell people, like the Parkway, if you understand the Parkway, you'll understand the SBCA. It's an authority created by the state of New Jersey that's self-funded, just like the Parkway is. Unfortunately, we don't make the millions the Parkway does. So,
Do you scan them in case they're microchipped and they are, it just doesn't work?
absolutely. So every cat that comes into the shelter, well, generally not on the scene, right? Because we don't want, in order to do that, you have to take them out of the trap, okay? And obviously, we don't know if they're feral. We'll even have cats that have come in that are privately owned cats, and sometimes they'll act feral because they're so scared when they're in the shelter. They don't understand what's going on. But we micro scan every animal that comes to the shelter to make sure that it has a microchip or it doesn't have a microchip.
Can you contact us?
Oh, absolutely. Oh, yeah. We actually had that problem. We actually had something recently where someone brought in a private cat to be TNR. It was coming into their yard constantly being fed, and they brought it in, and it was acting feral, and we wound up putting it under anesthesia, one was under anesthesia. We bonded, and it came back with a chip to an owner in Marlboro. We called him, and said, yes, that's my cat, and I'm coming down to get my cat, it was my personally owned cat. So, and we told her, well, it acted very feral, but she was very friendly, but of course, in an environment in a shelter, the animal's scared, it doesn't know what to do, it doesn't know who you are. So that was a big example right there. We were able to contact them. Yes, a question?
Do you have a brochure?
We do. We have, so with us, we have tonight, we have a brochure. We also have the applications if you want to be a colony caregiver, okay? So, Corinne will have them, we'll put them up front here for you. You can pick them up. You can either fill them out tonight and give them back. We can come out and meet you, look at what you have going on, and get the program rolling. We're ready to go. We're already going. We're already going. We've been doing this for a while in Neptune City, in regards to, because we do animal control here also, yes.
Do you send people out to trap if you're full?
We do all, we do everything, yep, absolutely. It's an easy lift for the municipality and for you. We do all the work, all you need to do is call us, sign the paperwork, be approved colony, even if it's not, you're not caring for a colony, if there's an area that has a problem in it, we'll certainly come out, investigate it, figure out what's going on, and bring it under control. Yeah.
Well, I live over in Coastal Village,
Okay.
and of course, I back up to the woods. Please don't take that, put that camera over something.
Jimmy, no.
But I would like to see, I've seen cats. They're well groomed. So you have to assume if they're well groomed, somebody's taking care of them. But they're roaming free.
Sure.
So that's an issue as far as I'm concerned.
Well, it's.
So if I called, would somebody address that issue?
We'll certainly come out and take a look and see what's going on, because they could be personally owned cats. They really could, because cats will roam. Personally owned cats come out of their house, indoor, outdoor cats. There's no law saying they're not allowed to roam. The difference is, what makes this a little bit difficult program to move forward, not difficult for the program, but difficult to navigate through, is that cats are considered domesticated animals. Okay, and they're protected under domesticated law. And it's very, very difficult sometimes to tell the difference between someone's own cat and a feral community cat. So the program hopefully is able to design that. And again, there have been times where we've actually picked up people's privately owned cats, brought them in, they weren't microchipped, and we neutered them, ear tipped them, or we brought them in, noticed they were neutered, but they weren't ear tipped. We had an incident where we did that also. We actually brought a cat in, we didn't know who it was, and we ear tipped it, because it was neutered, but, the ear tip is what gives us the clue. And of course, someone came to the shelter and complained, said that was my cat, but they had no microchip, they had no collar, they had no license. One of the things that we really encourage a municipality to do is to pass a licensing ordinance for a town, to have the cats licensed in town, because if you own a cat, and it's your privately owned cat, you should really have it collared and you should have it licensed, okay? That, if we trap a cat that's got a collar and a license on it, we know it's an owned cat, So that's another helpful thing for this program to move forward. So if you own a cat, get them collared and get them licensed.
Will that information be in your brochure?
Sure. Absolutely.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
We missed in the beginning all the information, like for, if you contact.
Okay, so the Monmouth County SPCA, we're the sponsors of the program. Our people are here today, and we will give you the application to become a colony caregiver. Are you currently taking care of some feral cats?
I took them in.
We have 4 community cats in our house.
Inside?
Yeah, we took
Inside.
2 from Neptune City and then we moved to Sharp River Hills. And
Okay.
we took 2 in.
So now they're house cats.
Yeah.
So they're house cats, so they're your privately owned cats at this point. So what you need to do, if the township has an ordinance, you should really get them licensed in the town, right? And they're your privately owned cats at this point, so they fall under your protection and everything else going on. They're not part of the program at this time. Now, if you caught them and they were feral, we would certainly run them through are they neutered?
They are neutered.
Okay, great.
Take care of, but
Sure.
we have one kitten in our backyard that just started show up in the past few months,
Okay.
but I don't want to be
Right, so that's not a problem. Right, that's not a problem, so.
enough.
Right, so if we can get out there and try to capture that kitten and bring it into the shelter,
Okay.
right? if it's not a friendly cat, we'll neuter it and release it back.
Okay.
Right, release it back to the area, even though it may already have a caregiver. There may be someone
But
taking
that's
care of
what
it.
I don't know, that's the thing, too, we don't know, I start feeding because it's a kid.
You started feeding.
I
It's about
start,
this big.
yeah.
Right, so that cat is way beyond being socialized at that time, right, at that point. That is a feral cat at this particular time, our community, or maybe friendly, we don't know. Even though it might be feral, it might have enough interaction with people to be friendly. So at this point, you want to get that cat neutered,
Yeah.
right? It may be pregnant already.
I know that
We ordered a trap from Amazon, it should be coming in the next couple of days.
Okay.
I was actually at the center the other day to look at another cat that was picked up in Chocolate Hills, because we thought it might have been one of ours that's been missing.
Sure.
And the young lady told me to, when we trap it, to bring it to her, walk in the entrance, say what's the left.
Yes, that's correct.
But,
Yeah, we could certainly go out there and trap, put a trap up there and hope to trap it,
because
but.
I want it sooner than
We don't want
later,
to make
you
sure she
know.
doesn't get pregnant.
Yeah.
She's
Exactly right,
male or female.
exactly right. But again, if you do even if you trap it, you can call us, we'll come out and pick it up. So if you have a trap, set it. Get it, because the sooner the better. Get a trap, we'll come out, we'll pick it up right away, or we'll set a trap out and pick it up. Either one's fine. If you already ordered the trap,
Got it.
yeah, either way we'll take care of it. That's
Tag
easy.
your
We'll get it in. Right, and if it's feral, we'll neuter it and we'll release it back out. And you can feed it if you'd like, as
Yeah.
long as, you want to, that's
Well,
great.
I kind of don't want to.
Okay, well, that's your priority. Yeah. We just open the door, let me, right.
No,
No, well,
we've had 7.
we have 7 at one
Right.
time. No, I think that's like.
Sure.
Time, if we decide to do it ourselves, bring it in now, then what is the time that we can bring them in?
So
I know it was early in the morning.
that doesn't apply to this.
Okay.
Okay, that
Yes,
doesn't
what it
apply to
is.
this. If you coordinate with Corinne, okay,
Okay.
she will work with you and get it all coordinated. So you're referring to the old days when we only allowed Mondays and Tuesdays, certain
Yeah.
hours for private people. If you become part of this program, you're becoming an agent of the SPCA, which means it could be during the times that she tells you. It could be Monday through Friday or Sunday through Thursday, because we don't trap on Friday, because we usually we'll trap either Sunday night to go for Monday surgeries, right? Mondays for Tuesday surgery. So we trap them, we bring them in the shelter, we get them settled in. The next morning, they go right in for surgery, they get neutered, they come out in recovery, and then they're brought out and they're released, right, what they do. So again, it's all coordination through Corinne and the TR program, because if you coordinate through her, it doesn't cost you a nickel. Doesn't cost you. You may do the trapping, and she say, that's great, bring them in. She may tell you, listen, bring them in Thursday afternoon or Thursday, whatever she deems, bring them in, work it out with her. You may say, well, listen, Thursday might not be good for me, so she say, okay, what about Wednesday, or whatever. You guys work that out. So whatever it is, we'll work you into the program, no doubt, and get you in and get it done right away.
What if we trap the cat on Tuesday, but there's no availability on Thursday?
No, we'll find it. Again, this is important for you to coordinate with Corinne, but, yeah.
Did he say?
There's an exception to every rule.
Yeah.
There's an exception to every rule, we'll make it work.
Because when I used to trap my other 2 in my old house in Neptune City,
Right.
that was the old rule. I trapped, the cat didn't get in, one of my cats didn't get into the trap until like 8:30. And
Right.
by the time I called them, they said, well, you cannot bring it now. And I can't leave him.
Yeah, so in that situation, you would call Corinne, she would tell you to bring it in, we would take it in the back, we'd keep it, because you're going through our program, not us, you're going out the
I
program,
cannot
right?
take it to the vet and it cost me $400.
Of course, of course, of course.
But
Does Neptune, you're in Neptune?
I'm in Chocolate Hills now.
Does Neptune have TNR?
Neptune does not have
City,
TNR,
so it's
this
a whole
Neptune
different-
City.
Oh, so
Neptune City.
it don't work?
So we have to trap it.
Right, but tell 'em you're from home. Yeah, right, exactly, right. But listen to me, call anyhow, right, because we do have some small private funding that could help you with some certain stuff. We don't have a lot of it, but we have a little bit of it that might be able to help you throughout the program, okay? Any other questions? Okay, in closing, again, folks, this is a great program, it really is, and I applaud the mayor and council for being progressive and moving forward with this. It really is a step in the right direction of bringing a problem under control that really, again, I say this over and over and over again, that was not a problem that anyone in this room created, it really is. But it is basically and definitely a beginning to bringing a solution to a manageable problem. And again, it's really a good program.
One
Thank
quick,
you very much.
one quick
Thank you.
question.
Yes.
I don't think we're mandatory to license cats in Neptune City yet.
We're not.
Okay.
We're not.
No, we
Right.
do not have an ordinance on
Right.
that
But
yet.
I do encourage
But
that.
we've made many strides, addressing the cat. One of the biggest ones was when we went to, Monmouth County SPCA. I can't thank you enough for everything you guys are. It was bad here in the past because one of the good things about the Monmouth County SPCA is they had law enforcement versus Associated Humane Society. They had really couldn't enforce anything. They'd have to actually call the SPCA, if there was a problem. So, you guys doing a wonderful job here, and, you know, this is a great program, and, you know, I'm sure it's gonna work out well,
It will, I promise.
and, it's already going, so.
It's good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
And all this information, we'll also make sure, some flyers, we'll have them downstairs in this municipality. Thank you again, Chief.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, so we will go to public participation for agenda items. Does anyone from the public wish to be heard on agenda items? Okay, seeing none. Do I have somebody who'd like to say anything about the Board of Education?
Sure, wait.
Liaison?
I'm Bruce Westcott, board member.
I just, oh, sorry, I love your shirt.
Thank you, I like your tie. Thank you. All I want to say is that there's a meeting on Thursday at 6 o'clock, so we'd like to see everybody there. That's about it. We have a new superintendent, who's working out real well. Teachers are a little smiling a little more better, which is good. And
Doing a good job.
sorry?
He's doing a good job.
He is, that's right, he is. Okay, so come out and listen to him and maybe tell him a couple good words. I'm pretty certain they'd like to hear that. Okay?
Thank you, Mr. Westcott.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Call me for next month, okay?
Now we go to old business.
Is it gonna be open to the public later to speak on other issues?
You could, yeah, later it'll be anything you wanna
Okay.
talk about.
All right.
Before it was just public participation, just for what's on the agenda. Old business? We have no old business. We'll go to new business. Resolution 19-164, payment of bills. Offered by Mrs. Lewis. Second by Mr. Zajac. Any questions? Roll call, please.
Mr. Zajac? Yes. Ms. Renee?
Yes.
Mr. Wardell?
Yes.
Mr. Kosis?
Yes.
Mrs. Lewis?
Yes.
Mr. Calhoun?
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Thank you.
Resolution 2019-165, resolution setting forth the process and parameters of the borough's 2019 participatory budgeting program.
If somebody wants to offer that, I'll offer that. Offered by Mr. Calhoun,
Second.
second by Ms. Renee. Any questions? Roll call.
Mr. Zajac?
Since I wasn't able to make the, meeting last week on the workshop and, just got the resolution not too long ago by email, I'm gonna abstain from voting.
Ms. Renee?
Yes.
Mr. Wardell? Mr. Kosis?
Yes.
Mrs. Lewis?
Yes.
Mr. Calhoun?
Yes.
Resolution's adopted.
Resolution number 2019-166, confirming the appointment of the participatory budget committee.
Yes, Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to amend the agenda to remove that resolution since volunteers were covered in the previous resolution, 165.
What's that?
We have this resolution covers volunteers, but they were actually covered in 165, so 166 is unnecessary.
So, okay. So just one.
I'll second that.
process, but it's what the process and parameters of the borough's 2019 participatory budget program. But that shouldn't have the members in it. That resolution should not have had the members in it.
So you'd want to amend 165 and read 166?
Yeah, because that even by title, it doesn't say anything about members. And, members are subject to different than just the parameters of. Because we originally, if I remember correctly, we were going to discuss the parameters and the guidelines and the requirements and everything that it was going to, to actually for the participatory budgeting. Sure. I get it right there. And that should have been separate than members. Because even in that, it should have been what criteria was to be a member of that committee.
Yeah.
Because nobody knew, you just picked people to be in that committee.
Right, so we can put that way, sure.
So should they amend 65? Okay, there you go. Just leave it.
Okay.
You don't have to take it off.
Because of the title states.
All right, so we have a motion on the floor, we have a second.
I'll offer this.
I don't think we got a second, we have a motion.
Yes.
We have a second,
Yes, we already got a second. Okay.
To withdraw the motion, right?
Yeah, so we had a motion, and we have a second to withdraw the motion on that resolution.
What's the motion?
Right.
So it's your
So I'll
amendment.
withdraw,
Amending
I'll
the
withdraw the
budget.
motion, and then we'll go back to.
Second withdrawal of the withdrawal.
All right, roll call. It's the withdrawal on the motion.
Mr. Zajac?
Yes.
Ms. Renee?
Yes.
Mr. Wardell?
Just so it's clear, we're withdrawing the withdrawal? Okay, yes.
Sorry, guys.
Mr. Joseph?
Yes.
Mrs. Lewis?
Yes.
And Mr. Calhoun?
Yes.
Okay. I think we're back to normal. Now, we're gonna introduce resolution 19-166.
Right, so I'll offer.
Reappointing.
I'll offer.
Resolution number 2019-166, confirming appointments to the Participatory Budget Committee.
Somebody like to offer that?
I will offer that.
Second.
All right, before we go to roll call, we're gonna read the members that are being appointed. Might I remind you that any member volunteers, as per the borough policies, are subject to background checks. And I know we're gonna move forward with that in the proper order. You would go ahead and read those?
David Calhoun, Council Liaison. Don Dorset, Joanne Godry, John Petrunti, Melissa Whalen, Rich Opegard, Tamara Tolman, Stu Josberger, Brian Russell, Borough Administrator.
Okay, roll call please.
Mr. Zajac?
Abstain.
Ms. Renee?
Yes.
Mr. Wardell?
Abstention.
Mr. Kosis?
Yes.
Mrs. Lewis?
Yes.
Mr. Calhoun?
Yes.
Resolution is adopted.
Resolution 2019-167, resolution approving a purchasing manager for the Borough of Neptune City.
Somebody like to offer that?
I'll offer that.
Offered by Mrs. Lewis. Second. Second by Mr. Kosis. Any questions? Roll call please.
Mr. Zajac? Ms. Renee?
Yes.
Mr. Wardell?
Yes.
Mr. Kosis?
Yes.
Mrs. Lewis?
Yes.
Mr. Calhoun?
Yes. Resolution is adopted.
Resolution 2019-168, resolution appointing insertion of special items of revenue and appropriations in the CY 2019 municipal budget, and this is pertaining to the municipal alliance grant.
Somebody like to offer that?
So offered.
Offered by Mrs. Lewis. Second by Mr. Calhoun. Any questions? Roll call, please.
Mr. Zajac?
Yes.
Ms. Renee?
Yes.
Mr. Wardell?
Yes.
Mr. Kosis?
Yes.
Mrs. Lewis?
Yes.
Mr. Calhoun?
Yes.
Resolution adopted.
Resolution 2019-169, resolution approving a correction to text and title for the budget year 2019. Again, this has to do with the municipal alliance grant and the matching local share.
Let's offer that.
So offered.
Offered by Mrs. Lewis. Second. Second by Mr. Kosis. Any questions? Roll call, please.
Mr. Zajac?
Yes.
Ms. Renee?
Yes.
Mr. Wardell?
Yes.
Mr. Kosis?
Yes.
Mrs. Lewis?
Yes.
Mr. Calhoun?
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Thank you.
Resolution 2019-170, resolution authorizing the purchase of electricity supply services for public use on an online auction website.
Would somebody like to offer that?
I'll offer that.
Offered by Mrs. Lewis.
Second.
Second by Mr. Calhoun. Any questions? Roll call, please.
Mr. Zajac?
Yes.
Ms. Renee?
Yes.
Mr. Wardell?
Yes.
Mr. Kosis?
Yes.
Mrs. Lewis?
Yes.
And Mr. Calhoun?
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Thank you. Now it is public participation for any and all items. If anybody from the public wish to be heard, if you do want to discuss anything about the SPCA, let's wait, if you want to see any of their staff. Let's wait till the end, and then maybe we could set you up with, hopefully this won't be too long, with that here. Any from the public wish to be heard? Yes, sir.
My name's George Terry, Myron Avenue. I'm a former resident of Asbury Park. I lived there 60 years. I moved to Neptune City about 5 years ago. And it's been nearly 20 years since I questioned the Asbury Park City Council and the Planning Board about redevelopment details, which never really got an answer. As you know, the redevelopment plan in Asbury is basically gentrified the city. You got a lot of residents here in Neptune City that are from Asbury because of that. They couldn't afford to live there anymore because of the plan. And so what really brings me here tonight is there was the last council meeting. The agenda was amended, and from what I'm reading in the coaster, the agenda was amended and the resolution was added on. And without, really any public discussion or knowledge of it, I didn't know about it. And I really like to ask some questions about details. I mean, I'm not hearing any details. I'm reading an article in the coaster about Neptune City. So you're all familiar with it, Mr. Russell? You're familiar with it, the council? And it doesn't say, give me any details as a resident and taxpayer. Then I get a letter from, it was this campaign letter. They discussed economic development. There's no details. So, could I ask a few questions on this? Or you want me to ask them all at once, or how do you want to do it?
Sure, you can ask some questions, I'm sure. I'm not gonna guarantee you I can answer all of them. I wasn't actually anticipating that we were going to amend the agenda after work sessions to add that magnitude of a
That's my concern, because I don't think
resolution,
that's very transparent. I mean, there's a lot of transparency was promised, and I don't see it when you do it that way, because these kind of plans, they come in drips and drabs, and before you know it, it's affecting the whole town, the community. And what I'm reading in here is it's of course, the state of New Jersey's involved. That's enough to scare you right there, because I can't think of anything they've ever done right. And also, it includes the entire town. And when I lived in Asbury, it was just the redevelopment area in the oceanfront. So, what's in this? What's in the resolution? Is there going to be tax abatements?
So, what the resolution is, if you didn't get an opportunity to watch Veteran Media,
Neptune City Metro Media.
Media.
I did watch it.
I discussed, and I gave my concerns about the resolution, lengthily during the workshop. I disapprove of it. I disapprove of as fast as it went. I disapprove of the fact that it went at right now. But it is a study to, basically it goes to the land use board now. The resolution is to go to land use board, and the land use board will have to review it and decide whether they're going to continue on with the study and how extensive. So there are no real details. It's just out there. So there's not a lot of details that are available. It's just to do a study of rehabilitation of our entire town. I personally, I don't think the town's that bad that we need to do a study of.
I mean, if there's an issue with somebody's property, I mean, you have code enforcement, you can tell them to fix the place up. But, is there gonna be eminent domain use?
But we never know. You never know. This is the first
Does anybody
step.
on the council that voted for this want to discuss it?
Well, you can, but as I said, there are no details, because all it is it's get it out to the land use board to review it, to do the study.
Also, it said in
There's
the
no
article
details.
about, Ms. Renee said that you're gonna be eligible for grants from the state. What strings are attached to the grants? There's a lot of times, there's strings attached to these things, and, it ends up costing the taxpayers money. So, what kind of strings are gonna be attached to these grants that we're all planning on applying for?
No more strings attached to any of the grants that we already received from the county and state.
But what does that mean?
I mean, there's no strings attached to it.
I'm not aware of any grant that is actually,
Right.
that they can say, this is a grant we're gonna get. Like I said, there aren't a lot of details. This is merely a study. It's very broad. There's no real details. Presumptuous to get grants, yes, just like the opportunity zone. It's presumptuous. I think that's mentioned in the article too. About the
Yeah, well, it's this
zone.
opportunity
It's
zone,
very- Very
what
presumptuous.
does that give the state the power to do?
Absolutely nothing.
What does it give the council the power to do?
Absolutely nothing.
May I, since I made the motion?
It sounds like a big concept.
Well, it's a lot, because I've
I
addressed
know we
the,
gave $40,000 to the,
Well,
for the,
Actually, that's incorrect. That's
we
incorrect.
haven't given anybody any money yet, but as far as the
but
opportunity
there's money
zone,
allocated to it, right?
it's a set aside for that,
Right.
but it would have to be, it has to be
Already
spent
we're
yet.
subsidizing the developers, but that's
So-
besides the point.
As far as the opportunity zone, again, very presumptuous, because still to this date, unless Mr. Russell's hiding information from me, which he hasn't yet, we've not actually gotten anything solid given to me from the state, because they actually do contact the mayor, of exactly what they're gonna offer.
See, this is how it started in
They
this.
said there's gonna be opportunities, but it's nothing that Neptune City's going to be offering. It's something that the state is gonna be able to do. They may be able to give them a tax incentive on the state level, but the opportunity zone is not something Neptune City is offering.
Well, those tax incentives have been criticized. I mean, there was even a report done by the controller several years ago. Because the state doesn't oversee them like they should. There's a lot of cronyism, there's a lot of favoritism, there's favoritism to developers. It creates problems. I mean, that report's already out there by the state
Well,
controller.
Yeah, it's,
That's
again,
why I'm saying, I like to know what's gonna come with this, because when you start talking about pilot programs, tax abatements, eminent domain, designated developers, I mean, this is, what is this all gonna develop into, and nobody seems to know. And that's what's scary about it, because that's how it started in Asbury. And eventually, a lot of us ended up leaving because we couldn't afford to live there. We got pushed out. And you see what you have. You have a big gentrified town now. And it's not, and I like Neptune City because it's got community, got neighborhoods, everybody knows each other. I mean, there was another thing in the, coaster where they asked the residents, what do you like about your town? And you saw what, I don't know if you read that, and you saw what they said about Neptune City. They said they like the town, it's small, it's hidden away. And I just hate to see the state come in here and open this thing up, open the can of worms up.
I can assure you that I don't think the state's gonna come in. Again, the opportunity zone, the whole thing behind it, this was over 2 years ago. It was brought to me about the opportunity zone. They declared Neptune City, the whole town, an opportunity zone, because we are a very diverse town, medium income.
Right.
It was very difficult for them to pick zones. Like the bigger towns, Neptune, they have zones. They have some areas. Shark River Hills is not an opportunity zone. It's a residential neighborhood. But there's areas, and it's throughout the whole state, not just here. But that's why they made Neptune City. And because I sat with the state, and that's exactly what they said. Why? Because we're only a square mile.
I just hope that in the future you'll be a little bit more transparent about it, that's all.
Well, this, as far as the opportunity zone things, the day that I get actual facts and real information, not presumptuous or what I'd like them to do, I will pass that on. But to date, I have not received that.
Mayor,
It's all presumptuous, and
Please,
that's.
may I speak since I was the one who made the motion?
Sure.
I do want to thank you for the question, because it's a very, very good question.
Those are
And
several questions.
That's why we, yeah, definitely. That's why we added the quarterly workshops here before the borough council meetings, so that we could have more transparency and open discussions about situations like this. And so that's what we've done. We've had these open workshops so that we can discuss these issues openly, so that there would be more transparency.
Wow.
And we've been discussing this for the past 6 months, and we've had many meetings. We've had our borough planner come and speak openly to the public a couple times, speak in committee meeting, and it's been public questions and council questions.
Yeah, I was at some of those, but
Yeah, it's very
my thing
thorough.
is, if you're gonna be
Mr.
open
Gray,
about it, why did you do what you did? You just you open the agenda up and then you throw the resolution on there.
Yeah, there were very
You could have waited a week or
specific
two
reasons
for
that.
the thing, you didn't have to do it like that.
There were very specific reasons for that, because we do have within the budget, it's a proposed
It couldn't wait.
$18,000 for the rehabilitation plan that we asked to move forward to the land use board. And the land use board, we've requested to do a study. It might be dead in the water there. They might say, nope, we don't want to do it. So it might be dead in the water there. But since the state has declared Neptune City an opportunity zone, it's a rare opportunity actually that we have. Like the mayor was saying, that a lot of towns just have little pockets, but the whole town has been designated an opportunity zone. So if we do a study of the whole town, we can see exactly which pockets are in need of rehabilitation. So we didn't authorize for the rehabilitation plan yet, the redevelopment plan yet of a specific area, like the town center, which the master plan has called for the past 20 years. Because we want to see what other issues we have, like crumbling infrastructure, we have the flash flooding issues, we have some environmental issues. So we want to take a look at the whole study, which has never been done in Neptune City before. We have like little piecemeal patchwork development happening. So we want to have smart planning take place. And
Well, we've been smart planning.
in order to do this, the federal government has actually offered up grants
Federal
for
government.
areas.
So now they're involved.
The federal government has offered grants.
Where is that information?
It's right on the website. It's right on the
Which
website. You can look
website?
it up, but everything is right on.
They've not come.
What,
they've
I don't
not
even have a
given us
computer, so
anything
you know,
You can look right on the
Pam,
website.
Pam, why is it, hold on, no, one
All
moment.
right.
Let's finish. Let her finish what she's saying.
Thank you very much. So, in order to take advantage of any grant opportunities whatsoever, we have to have a plan. If we don't have a plan, we can't apply for the grants. That's it, plain and simple. We cannot apply for grants.
Well, that's
We
the
do not
question
have a
I asked you before, I haven't gotten an answer on. What's the strings attached to
There
grants?
are not strings attached to grants.
There's
We
always
get
something
grants
attached.
all the time. We have grants for our parks. raise taxpayer dollars to do that? Or do you want us to keep ignoring
I'm
these
just
issues?
saying, I never heard of any town doing
Excuse me,
anything
sir.
without getting
Excuse
raising
me,
taxes.
you're interrupting me. You asked me a question, I'm answering it. So,
I don't know.
we do not want to raise tax dollars. In order for us to take advantage of the opportunity that we have been given as this declaration, we want to be able to apply for grants to take care of some of the issues in our town that have been ignored for so many years. We have some crumbling infrastructure. We do not want to raise taxes to take care of these issues. So if we have the opportunity to apply for grants to help us pay for these issues, we want to take advantage of that as much as possible.
I understand.
So we have to have a plan. And we can't even negotiate with developers that come in here if we don't have a plan.
What specific grants are there available?
There's federal grants, there's state grants that.
Like what?
You just have to go on the website and find out. They're available to us. Our planner came here and he can look on Metro Media, and take a look. He specifically stated those while he was here. So we want to take advantage of grant opportunities that are available, but we must have a plan first. We have been actually slow on this process. I would have liked for us to have jumped in right away because we have some vacant properties, especially in the center of our town, where these business owners are begging and pleading us, to lift there's a, what is it called? We have a deed restriction on it, but this is how this is talking about. There's a deed restriction on that property that does not allow for certain things to move in there. They're begging and pleading us, but we want smart planning. We do not want another issue where we have manufacturing in town that's stinking up our air, our water, our ground. We want smart planning so that, I'm sure we're not gonna make everybody happy, but we wanna make as many people happy as we can. We wanna do that in the smartest way possible, and that starts with the plan. The plan of the overall town, and then after we receive the results of that, then we can possibly decide if we want to do a plan for redevelopment in whatever area that they see is most need, which is probably the town center. But we want to be smart about it. We've taken our time. And that adding onto the resolution was because I wasn't hearing back from certain people within the committee, but everything was discussed openly in the public workshop and decided that it was time to move forward.
I just hate to see like you develop the.
Hold on.
I hate to see like town center, and I know when I taught it in high school, but I hate to see.
Excuse me,
Yeah.
I hate to cut you off,
Okay.
but I'm not gonna let you hold it back and forth.
Okay, that's
All right?
fine.
I appreciate your
I got the answer.
Thank you. Does anybody else in the public wish to be heard?
Yeah, hi, I'm Ted Widow, 9 Tucker Drive, Neptune City. Not gonna talk about the merits, I'm not. But what I am gonna do, I will chastise you. And matter of fact, we'll go so far as to say, not 100% sure that was illegal to introduce a resolution without any public comment, especially a resolution to spend money. And so I certainly think that could have waited a couple of weeks to do that. And as far as transparency goes, and also, I just want to make sure I understand this. So we know we're probably going to spend $18,000 for the planner to see if we qualify for grants, and we may not qualify for it. We don't know. We don't know if there's really grant money out. I'm not being critical. I'm not. We don't know until we try. So you're going to spend $18,000 for the planner for these grants. And the last thing I'm going to say, and I just have to say that I hear so much about transparency. I do. And I hate doing this because I like all of you. I swear to God I do. But it's just unconscionable that your Republican colleagues have no idea what's going on until the last minute. There's no need for that. You're in charge. You're the boss. You're the archer. You have the votes. And it's just irresponsible to withhold that information. And the reason it's irresponsible is because, like it or not, Republicans were elected by the residents of Neptune City. They too represent the residents of Neptune City. And I don't understand this pattern of doing that. And I'm saying that because I swear to God, you're still my neighbors. I still like you. But I don't like that practice. Is that fair enough to say?
No, thank you.
Yeah, I don't like that practice.
Anybody else?
I would like to address.
Now, we're not going
I was
to.
being chastised, so I.
Now, we're not going back and forth. Anybody else?
I don't think
wish to
it's
be heard?
chastising. Let the record say, I want to chastise the neighbors.
Could I get your name and
Jim
address for
Ward,
the record?
Coastal Village.
I'm sorry, if you'd like to make a statement or a comment, please make it to me.
I'm
Okay?
looking at you
can-
right now.
I know, sir, I know, but I'm just for the future, yes, sir. I'm sorry, go
I
ahead.
said, who proposed this?
What?
What has just been discussed with that gentleman over there?
The resolution was proposed by Ms. Renee and her part of her economic development committee. That's who proposed it.
That's what I wanted to know, thank you.
Yes.
Pat Ward, 32 Coastal, I'm his wife. Anyway, are you saying that she proposed it without if I understand Mr. Wardell, the Republican members were not privy to that before? They were.
They were.
All right, so, okay,
They were.
so hold on.
They were.
All right, so here's how we're gonna do this. We're not gonna do the back and forth, but what happened, what the issue is that, would not normally, again, this was discussed in a workshop session at 6 o'clock. The regular meeting started at 7. That resolution was prepared, so it really didn't matter. It was, as soon as we went into the regular meeting, there was a motion to amend the agenda of the regular meeting, and then it was voted on and passed. So normally, the workshop would be things to discuss, and then you would prepare for the next meeting. I'm not saying that everybody would agree with what it is, but at least before the resolution is prepared and then presented, it's full discussion in a workshop, and that would be on the regular agenda, which would be on the website and available to the residents, that it is up for vote that night. So that seems to be the issue. So with that, I hope I answered some questions.
Yes, thank you.
Anybody else have any questions or comments? Hopefully not more about that, but you're just gonna get the same answer from me. Yes.
I would like to know why Councilwoman Pamela Renee stated that I think if I'm recall this right, it's a unique opportunity for Neptune City. I would like to know the answer for that.
I'm not gonna answer it. Yeah, I mean, it's being presumptuous at this point, to be honest with you. Everything's being presumptuous until the resolution that was passed goes to the land use board. And they actually determine if anything is done, if there's a study done, and then if there's areas that are found, and then if they do redevelopment, there might be grants available. Some grants in some areas.
I don't mean disrespectful to you. My answer is still not being answered.
I can't answer it.
I'm asking, then fine. I'm gonna ask.
Renee asked what the unique opportunity
I would be
is.
glad to. We have a couple unique opportunities. One is that we do have the deed restriction on a property in the center of town that helps us to determine what we can or cannot put there for smart development, so that we don't have another negative situation in town. So that would be one of the unique opportunities. And then the other unique opportunity is our town being declared an opportunity zone by the state, which does open us up and make us available for grant opportunities so that we don't have to pay, we don't have to raise taxes to help take care of some of the things that have been neglected for so many years.
Thank you.
Does anybody else from the public wish to be heard? Yes, sir.
You know, when you get a grant, you gotta have money to get a grant.
Yeah, grant,
You have
many
to put
different
forward
ones.
a share of the grant money.
Many times, yes, sir.
I just wanna make sure everybody knows that.
Yes.
So there must be allocations already in place if grants come along. Has this since been sent to the land use board?
It has not got in
They
front of the
don't
land
have
use
it
board.
yet.
Yeah,
Thank you.
thank you. Anybody else wish to be heard? Okay, seeing none, I need a motion to,
Actually, sorry,
Sorry,
I
that's
just
all right.
wanted to wait until we got through
Okay.
most of that particular issue.
Oh, it's about that.
Stacy Higgins, 29 Coastal Drive, also representing Neptune City Homeowners Association. Previous council meeting, we had addressed the environmental committee and what its purpose was and the overall structure. And we went back and discussed with our membership at our most recent meeting. And it was asked that the council could take on looking at that structure of the the environmental committee for issues pertaining to something like the TFH smell or remediation questions and that kind of thing, so that the homeowners have a place that they know they can go to that would have answers specifically of what's going on in the town without necessarily going through the borough. So it was a thought for the environmental committee to be structured in that manner, that they would take on those kind of issues in the town. So they're not necessarily having to go and discuss it at a homeowners association. It could be discussed directly, find answers through the council itself and the environmental committee.
We will take that under consideration to structure about that, because, not to get back into the TFH issues and, but, we do deal with the state environmental department and, we do have all those answers. And as I've said in the past, we have a lot of answers. Unfortunately, a lot of times it's not the answer I want to tell you, and I know it's not the answer you want to hear, but I like to be honest and tell you the facts. So, but if you do have any questions or concerns, you can always call the borough. We can, that's what we're here for. That's what our administrator's there for. And everything really needs to go through the administrator in regards to that, so that it's documented. And, so that's what I would recommend right now.
Sure.
With
No,
the
and that's
homeowner association.
Yeah.
To the administrator, not council members, not, anybody else. This way, there's full document of what's going on, and then the administrator, he can speak to me about it too, and then, we can address it, we can get answers for you right away.
Sure, and I guess that's why a lot of the association felt that that's something that the environmental committee could formally take on, long-term, or I guess similar structure to other towns, and whatever that process was, and just wanted that to be considered.
Okay, we'll take it under consideration, thank you. Anyone else?
Just a quick question. Is there a projected date of when the planning zoning board, whatever you call it, land use board, is going to hear this?
They will get the packet at the next meeting, which will be the second Tuesday, I believe, of October. Second Tuesday of October, that's when it'll be in the land use packet. Then they'll be able to review it. I'm sure they'll have a pretty lengthy discussion at the meeting. And then the land use planner will also have it to review and make recommendations also.
Very good.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay, again, thanks everybody for coming. I want to thank again the Monmouth County SPCA. You guys have been doing a great job for us here in Neptune State. I need a motion to adjourn. Offered by Mr. Wardell, second by Mr. Calhoun. All in favor? Aye. We are adjourned.